So if you're watching this, you're curious to see how I'm going to get this planter with this bucket in it, with this pot in it, and make it work. So that's our planter stand that we made. And I want to keep the bottom from rusting out too crazy. So I want to put this bucket in the bottom, so that way all the water ends up in there instead of rusting out the bottom. My wife decided she liked these, but they don't fit in there very well. They're just a little too tall for it. So we're going to fix that. This is just plastic, so we're going to cut some of the bottom off. So I've got my grinder out with a cutoff wheel on it, and I'm going to lay that flat on a table and turn this pot in a circle so I can score a line in it. And then I'll finish cutting off the bottom. It's just plastic, so it cuts real easy. I'll take the grinder and just sort of clean up that bottom edge a little bit. I probably could have done a little better. We'll do the same thing for the other pot. Since we have two of these planters, we need to put pots in. Mark the bottom of the pot, cut through the bottom of the pot. Pot's ready to go. All right, we've got two pots, but they've got no bottom in them. We're going to create a bottom out of this. This is not your plastic bucket from Lowe's. This used to have paint or something, and it is a lot thicker. And I'm thinking I want to cut, this still has this plastic protective piece on it. 3 inches. I'm trying to figure out how much of this bucket I'm going to cut off, because I just need the very bottom bit. So we're going to want to cut about 2.5 inches. So now that I know how much I need to cut off, I need to make some kind of guide. I'm going to make a guide out of this. I'm going to cut some of the bottom off so it rests flat on the table. Now I've marked 2.5 inches on this. I need to drill a hole in it so I can put my marker through to mark the bucket. This may not be a very technical way to mark the bucket, but it's very efficient and fast. So it's back to the grinder with the cutoff wheel, which is a very effective way to cut plastic. We'll need to mark and cut this second bucket to use it as the bottom of the pot. Now we need to firmly attach the top of the pot to the new bottom, and we'll do that with zip ties. Okay, we're going to use some zip ties to attach it, and I've got a bit that is the right size for that. I'm using a line on the table and making it like a pizza tray. I decided to make 6 holes for 6 zip ties. For me, it's easier to see my marks on the inside, so I'll put my 6 marks on the inside and then transfer those to the outside so I know where to drill. I've got my marks transferred to the outside. It's time to drill some holes. I don't have to worry about all the marks left by the permanent marker, because it's going to sit inside of the plant stand. I set this pot into the base and was about to drill into it when I realized that the zip ties have to go in and out. So I'm going to need 2 holes. I'll just put a second hole right next to the first hole I drilled. I'm going to use the gray base as a master, and I will mark everywhere there was a hole. And I'm going to drill wherever I put a mark. The holes will be big enough for the zip tie to go through it, and the zip tie packaging said they were rated for 75 pounds. So once I get these 2 pieces fit together, I'm going to drill the hole for the zip tie. And I'm going to do 1 set of holes, and I'm going to place a zip tie through those holes. I'm going to do this one at a time because I didn't space my holes out and they're not uniform. So if I just drilled a bunch of holes, I'd have a hard time trying to get everything to line up. It's a little slower doing it this way, but we can ensure that everything lines up and is right. I should say, it's a lot slower doing it this way, but I don't think it really wastes any time. You would have spent quite a bit of time trying to make sure all your holes were properly spaced. Either way, you're going to spend a bunch of time doing this. So I don't want you guys to get too bored watching me do this, but I did this for all the holes on both pots. Let's jump to the end and see where we're at. Well, this is where the planters go, and my wife has got a fern in this one. I think it looks awesome. Well, there you go. I think it's going to work out just fine. Hope it gave you some ideas. Maybe you learned something. At any rate, like, subscribe, check out those playlists, and I'll see you in that next video.